Click on this video. This is David Pendleton again, and I'm going to give you a complete rookie walkthrough for the Highlands tournament. So, right off the bat, I know I only shot a -14. I had better qualifying rounds on pro than this. But the good news is this is a baseline, okay? This is qualifications. We're just still testing some shots out. But the -14 for everybody watching is going to be pretty easy to duplicate and replicate what I'm doing here. So, a -28 is going to be our minimum, and we're going to really be pushing for a -32, which I believe we will get, maybe even better, based off a few shots that I'm going to show you here. So, bear with me. I'll take my time, be very detailed, and, we'll go out and win this thing together. First thing, though, if you find this video helpful, please subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And especially on rookie, if you turn my notifications on. I don't have too many rookie accounts. Sometimes I only play one, maybe two accounts. So, I don't have like a whole team working for me like a lot of the big streamers do. So, if I find really good, consistent, automatic extra eagles or hole-in-ones in the next couple rounds, I do throw a much quicker video up there, typically like a 10-minute or less video showing you extra dialed in shots, so pay attention for that. And then, play around. If you kick butt and you're like, man, that dude's video really helped me, then help me back. You can do that by donating to my channel, and you'll see how to do so in the comments. But thanks for bearing with me. It's been a crazy week. My daughter and wife both battling with COVID right now. So, I got this video up much later than I wanted to, but we're still getting it up. So let's hop right into the replays, everybody. So you're going to find out in this tournament, I'm going to have two holes on balls and clubs that I really never use. The Rocket and the Marlin are balls I never really use, so we're starting off that way. But here's the good news is I tested this shot with like a sniper, and you had to offset it pretty good in order to really try to get the hole-in-one, and it's definitely there. But a lot of folks I found out who watch my rookie aren't really good with offsetting yet. So I think there's going to be different holes that I can teach people on how to do that. But I did find this shot from another streamer, Hammer and Hank, that gave me the idea on this shot, and it's a really good shot. So, he has it down pat, and I figured I would try it. And if I had good success with it, then I would slow it down and show you guys how to do it. But the shot does work. And here's how you're going to play it. You're going to play it with the Marlin, okay? And as far as your adjustment goes, we're going to be at absolute minimum distance of our club. And we're going to use 5% elevation. And no matter what the wind is, you're always going to use 1.5 back and 1 left side spin. And we are going to offset a little bit. And offsetting means you're not going to put your ball guideline directly in the cup. See, we're going to put it to the right-hand side of the cup, just like that. So still touching the cup, but the right edge of the cup. And then from here, like I said, we're going to make a 5% adjustment at minimum distance of our club. And you be careful when you do this adjustment, because you might switch to your wood club like I did there. So make sure, you look for that and don't accidentally take it with the wrong club. But you see here, we get a really good speed, and we're dead center of the pin. So if I take a look at it, I probably need to just change this to like maybe 1.2 backspin, and we're going to be right there. And I might have even underpowered the shot a little bit. So maybe if I just put a little bit more power on the shot, it gives us that extra speed. But that's a very good, safe, rough bump play. And I feel like, a lot of you guys watching that hit that ball perfect are going to drop this hole-in-one pretty consistently. So good luck with that one. And maybe watch that one a couple times just so you get the hang of it. Pretty simple. Now, hole number 2, we're going to pause this, okay? Because hole number 1, we can get a hole-in-one. It'd be great. It's a huge bonus. If we get it one time in the final round, that's awesome. That's a big advantage over the competition. But if you want to win the tournament, which I'm sure you do if you're watching the video, this hole right here is the one that's going to be a must eagle, okay? Now, keep in mind, this account has an extra mile 8. If you're using, an extra mile 5 or 6, what you're probably going to want to do is you're going to have to use a little bit more overpower than I do. But you can still reach the green with those clubs. You're just going to have to test it out a little bit, and this is where taking notes comes into play. Like for me, for example, I write down the notes. I write down how much top spin I use, how much left spin, what elevation I do, and if I miss the shot. So for example, I did miss this shot on Monday, and I actually came up short and got stuck in the rough. So then, I wrote down what I did, and I just adjusted from there, okay? So maybe I add a little bit more overpower, maybe I add more top spin, whatever the case may be. Take your own notes if you don't hit the shot. But here's what I'm doing. I'm using almost full top spin and 2 bars of left side spin. And I want to pause it right here because it's very important. This is what your ball guideline looks like when you pull your rings. That's a good consistent roll. You're going to second bounces in the rough, but you see how I have a fully developed tail? That's what you want your ball guideline to look like before you pull your rings. And as you can see here, because I have an extra mile 8, I don't have to use any overpower, all right? But again, if you don't have an extra mile 8, maybe you're playing with a 5 or a 6, then you'll have to use a little bit of overpower, or you can switch to a berserker, whatever you're most comfortable with. But regardless of your club ability, you are able to make the green, and I know that because I saw an opponent that I had an extra mile 5, and he used a berserker and was able to make the green no problem. So, just kind of test that out and play with it. You still have another round to do that before you need to get locked in for the finals. That's a very safe way to make it. Hole number 3, we're going to use a little bit less than 5 bars of top spin. I want you to be very, very careful with how much top spin you use on this hole, okay? Because you don't want to roll too far into the rough, which you can definitely do. So again, your extra mile driver, it doesn't matter. I have a 7 on this one. And a lot of people think, oh, I can't do the shots that these other streamers are doing because I don't have their clubs. Yes, you can. You can. I won my first gold banner on this account right here with an extra mile 3 and a Viper 7. It's just going to come down to taking notes, especially when you mess up and especially when you make a shot on what you did right. But for example, for here, I'm putting my orange ring right here on the rough line, and I write that crap down just for consistency, especially when it comes to shot number 2, and I'll explain that here in a second. So I'm putting my orange ring on the rough line, and then I'm using 4.5 top with 1 bar of left side spin, okay? And I write that down. And then I know I'm going to pull 10% elevation, and I take down a normal shot. And for me, I just write down normal shot. If I have to overpower, I write down overpower and how much overpower I use. But you see here the 4.5 top spin, that's good enough, okay? If you have a higher extra miles, don't use too much more because you don't need the distance on that shot. Now we'll go into shot number 2. Shot number 2, we're going to play with no elevation. And if you get a little bit more distance on your drive, you're able to go for a rough bump, which is going to give you the best opportunity for the albatross. But either way, this is still, a really good shot at the pin. Now for me, no elevation on this shot, okay? And you're seeing here that I'm using 1 bar of backspin. And, my first run through, which is probably this shot right here, I used 20% elevation. I was just testing the downhill approach. We're not going to actually need any elevation at all. It does play better with no elevation. So, keep that in mind. And we know the 1 bar backspin is pretty good because if that would have been aimed at the pin a little bit better, then, it would have been a good speed to drop. So 1 bar, 1.2 bars of backspin, depending on where you're at. That's going to be a pretty good consistent roll. So that should be an easy albatross for us to pick up as the tournament goes. So good luck with that one. Now, hole number 4, I think, yeah. All right, so hole number 4, here's how we're going to play it. We're going to go 10% elevation, and you're going to go max top spin with your club, with a couple bars of left side spin. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this little hill. I'm going to use this hill to bounce onto the next fairway. Now you see how much room I have here to make it. So same thing again, if you're sitting here with an extra mile 5 and a Titan ball, you might have to use just a little bit of overpower, but you're not going to have to use so much overpower that your needle's going crazy. Because look how much fairway room I have here. Now, you might not get the same distance as I do, but you're still able to play the same type of shot, all right? And to be honest with you, shot number 2 on this hole sucks. It always has, even in tour play. We've had this in a tournament probably 3 times in the past, 6-7 months. And it's not an easy approach to the hole at all. This is a very bumpy green. So, I recommend using 10% elevation on this shot. I also recommend don't hit great balls because, you're not going to make it unless you misadjust with a great shot. But to be honest, everybody, we're playing this hole for the birdie. I've seen people par it because of a bad drive. So don't put yourself in that position. Play it that way, pick up the birdie, and just move on to the next hole. There's plenty other chances to get drops in this tournament than have to screw around with this one and accidentally hit sand or something stupid. Okay, so we're going to talk about this hole, and I'm going to give you 2 different ways to play it. I'm going to give you a safe way to play. Now, this first shot right here can be done with any extra mile. Then the second shot is going to be very aggressive. We're going to need a lot more power and, a Titan or a Berserker. I recommend Berserker. But let's show you the first way to play it right now. And let me check my elevation here on hole number 5. So we're playing this one at 20% elevation. And I want you to notice my spin here. 3 bars of backspin, 2 bars of right side spin. You can see I'm playing up here with my yellow ring at the rough at the plus 12 yard mark. Now your plus yard marks will be different depending on, your extra mile. But if you have an extra mile 8, then you can just replicate exactly what I did there. And we're getting a little bit too close to that rough line. So make sure you use a good amount of backspin on this hole. That way you don't roll into the rough and decimate your chances there at pretty much a guaranteed eagle hole. This is shot number 2. Shot number 2, basically just go full right spin. And, at the end of the day, I probably need to back up my target a little bit more here and play more on the right-hand side of the sand than play over the full sand. But use a healthy amount of right curl. And this ball will kick onto the green, no problem, as long as you use a good amount of curl. But, like I said, I played that one a little too high up, which is why I came up this high on the green. But I don't really see this one as an albatross opportunity at the moment, unless I'm missing a good line. I don't think that I am. So let's pick up the eagle on this one because, again, I think you're going to see, maybe 10, 20% of the field pick up a birdie on this hole, and that's going to kill your chances at a gold, or really a top 10 finish. So that's a very safe, conservative way to play this hole. Now, so let's say you got some advanced clubs, okay? And a lot of people say, for me anyways, a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, you got an extra mile 8, or you got an extra mile 9, and you're playing rookie. You're not a rookie player. People say that crap to me on Facebook. And yeah, you're right. I'm not a rookie player. These clubs are out of rookie range. But here's the deal. These videos help people. And at the end of the day, like this Big Daddy account is an account that I can play pro and expert with. As you see right there, I have a pro gold on it. So a lot of the times, I make these videos on rookie. And then when I get to the green, I just forfeit the hole so I don't qualify. And then I take these accounts to pro or expert throughout the rest of the rounds. So, there's one thing. So, but anyways, if you have an extra mile 8 or an extra mile 9 and you want to use a Berserker, you could do this with a Titan too. But check this shot out here. You can really get yourself into a great albatross range. I'm going to go through the trees onto this itty-bitty strip of fairway that the game gives us to be aggressive, which is kind of fun. So I like that they have this here. But the biggest thing is you cannot afford to hit a great ball if you're going for this shot. A great ball puts you in the rough. But the good news is, even if you do that, you're not going to have any issues getting to the green in two, and you'll still save your eagle. And from there, I recommend playing that shot at 20% elevation. So I played this shot right here, 20% elevation. You can see I'm using a Goliath here for an albatross opportunity, pretty much mid-distance of the club. Just really what we need to do is use a lot of backspin to get good ball control, because this green does roll a little bit fast. But I'll fast forward here, not to take up too much time. And you can see I used a healthy amount of backspin, and I still came in super hot. So I recommend taking that drive with a Titan, because then you're going to have, at least a wind resistance 2 ball instead of the wind resistance 1, and I think that will help out a little bit. And I don't believe we need the Berserker to make that drive anyways. I think we can do it with the Titan and a little bit of overpower, and it won't be a lot of overpower, so that'll be good. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you 2 ways here to play hole number 6 as well. Hole number 6 is going to be a straightforward birdie. All right, I can't imagine, unless you royally screw up this shot, that you're going to be getting anything other than a birdie on this particular hole. Now, I was saying earlier how there are some balls I never use in tournaments, and this is one of them. This is a Quasar. But we do need the side spin in order to make this shot work and to get close to pin. And as you can see here, I'm not really that close on this shot yet. But again, it's a safe birdie, and I do think there is a good potential to get a hole-in-one on this hole. And if I find that line, I'm going to tell it to you. But regardless, we're playing this one at 20% elevation and mid-distance of our club. And I will tell you, I want to play it this way, which is why I didn't really talk about it on the previous walkthrough. If you want to use a Quasar, that's fine. But I do recommend the Titan, or not the Titan, but the Katana. And look at this ball guideline that I found right here by using this ball. So look how good of a tail we have heading into the pin. I think that's going to be a really good shot for us to really tinker around with where we need to set it at in order to get this ball to drop. But, we're using about 2.8 bars of backspin and a couple bars of left side spin, and we have ourselves at a really good angle to the pin. Now, the only bad part here is I was running out of time, so I had to hurry up and take my shot. I would have really liked to move my ball guideline around a little bit more, but either way, let's talk about this one for a second. So we saw in both scenarios, I was aiming directly at the pin, and we still came in right. So what we need to do in this situation, I think, and I really got to mess around with it still, is aim on the left-hand side of the pin, not even in the cup. Let's get our tail pointing maybe one green square to the left of the pin and see what happens, see where the ball rolls in. So I'm going to test that out. Unfortunately, during this tournament, everybody, got a lot of family stuff going on, and I'm only able to play 1 account in Rookie. So that means I only have 2 shots left to try to figure out if there's a better angle at it. But if I do, I'll post it, okay? So bear with me. Normally I play 2 Rookie accounts, and I get a lot more looks at each hole, but I just don't have the time this week with what I got going on. Now this hole I'm really excited about. So I need to pause this and back up here just for a second, because I think, guys and gals, God, I hate when I do that shit. All right, so I am pretty excited about our potential to get a hole-in-one on this hole, believe it or not. And, a lot of players are going to, get the birdie on this one, because it's almost an automatic birdie just because there's such a huge funnel on this green. All you got to do is get it to the green, and you're going to roll down towards the pin. But there is a line to get this ball to drop, And I want you to use a quarterback with a navigator. And the reason I use a navigator a lot in rookie is because of the wind resistance too. It's just a great ball to use on par threes. Typically in rookie, you'll never see me use a Kingmaker or a Titan on a par three. All you need is a power one ball with that wind resistance 2, and you're really good. But you're going to use your quarterback, okay? 2 bars of top spin and 1 bar of right spin. And look at this awesome ball guideline you get. Like, I got this thing all the way almost to the pin, but look at it right here. I'm going to try to zoom in, and I know when I do this, it really screws up the video, but look at that. So the ball guideline is just underneath the hole. Like, we're so close, and I didn't really get to recognize this until I qualified yesterday. I wish I'd have waited one more day, especially after seeing this. But look how I got the ball guideline here just directly underneath the pin. And look at where my shot goes. And I'll give you the adjustments and everything after we watch a shot. I mean, we're just playing this one mid-distance of our quarterback and a 20% elevation. And we're using like a little bit less than a half a ball of right curl. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this hole because, man, if we can get this one to drop, you're not going to see many people get a hole-in-one on this one. And if we can get this one to go in, we're in a really good spot. Look at this. Oh, it's like it's just teasing with us. But here's the thing that we need to do. I don't know if I can push my club up any higher to get my ball guideline to go up further. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is my target's right there. Okay, there's my target. And my ball guideline's right there. So I don't know if I push that target up any further if my ball guideline is going to go up towards the hole. But what I noticed when I took this shot, now watch this. Here's my shot. I'm underpowered. I'm not in the center of the freaking bullseye like I should be. And, you know, it's really easy to underpower or even overpower a shot when you use curl. I underpowered this damn shot. And I bet, and you never know, but man, I bet if I take a normal shot with that same curl, that damn ball goes in the hole. So, you know, let's try that one together. And if you're able to replicate this, like with that ball guideline, but just take a normal shot with that curl, if you get it to drop, send it to me, man, and we'll take a look at it and see if we can figure out that hole together. That's a good one to get, and it's doable. Now here's another hole. Okay, so when I talked about how we're going to be at a minus 14 guaranteed, that's because of hole number 2 where we're driving to the green, and this hole right here. Really, really good chances. Now, the thing is, though, I'm playing this one at 30% elevation, and I don't know why I had to go that high. Maybe it's just a fluke, but I tried playing at 15% on my first run-through, and the shot didn't go as expected. You know, I missed it, and I'm not going to go into, like, everywhere I missed it, but I just thought I needed more of a pull, and so I actually doubled up the elevation and went all the way up to 30. But you're going to use a big topper, okay, with a navigator and a full top spin. And the thing with the big topper is you can't hit great. Because if you hit great, you could be in a world of trouble. And that's not even that great of a shot, but, you know, that leaves us for a very short chip in there for the eagle. And we can push that ball up further. Oh, what happened? Did I not save the chip in? Oh, well. There we go. Just another Dave move. How many times do I do that crap? Well, here's another way to do it. Now, if you got the driver, okay, like this is extra mile 9, but you could do this as extra mile 8 too, no problem, with a Titan for sure. Now look, now you can just go right onto the green, okay? That's simple. I did the big topper for a lot of people who only have like an extra mile 5 and stuff like that, but you got that big topper, you know, 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter on the big topper level. Everybody's got it playing rookie for the most part. But you can do this shot right here. Now, if you don't have an extra mile 9 or 8, if you have a 7, You know, you could just do this with a berserker. You could probably, and I don't know for sure, but I bet you could line up there with the berserker somewhere around that top fairway and either use some left spin or maybe aim straight for the pin just like I did here. Now you'll see this is a lot better chance. I mean, hell, you could even possibly get a hole-in-one with a little bit of luck if you fine-tune that shot. But that's just another way to play it. Now we're going to go into the last hole, hole number 9. Seeing a lot of people screw this one up. You know, the drive is really getting people. But, you know, again, I want to pause this for a second here because you're going to see me using the extra mile 9. And if you know the game, you know the benefits of an extra mile 9 is +1 power over an extra mile 8, okay? But the biggest advantage is the top spin. You get to use a whole bunch of top spin with the extra mile 9. Now, keep in mind, I'm sure that 99% of people watching this video don't have an extra mile 9, but I'm not using the benefit of an extra mile 9. Watch my top spin. My top spin you can do with any of your extra mile levels. So we're using a katana. We're using a little bit of top spin and full right side spin. I only used 3 bars of top spin on this drive. That's it. So again, extra mile, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't matter. You can do the same thing. Normal shot, half of a ball of right curl. If you hit the drive, guys, this should be an automatic eagle. Unless you really mess up shot number 2 by hitting a great ball. But you see, we don't need distance. So, you know, you can use more topspin if you want, but you don't have to. Because basically you're going to be playing this shot right here with a sniper or a viper, depending on what you have. Again, you know, I have a level 10 sniper. Okay, no big deal. You can do this shot with a viper too. Like, it doesn't matter. We're not taking a technical rough bump. We're just getting this ball onto the green. That's all we care about. And we come close. It's too much speed, too hot. But, you know, we're there. And we get ourselves a nice little birdie. So there it is. There's a very, very simple and duplicatable -14. But -14 is not going to cut it to win the tournament. We have to shoot better than that for sure. And I think we will. And if I find some shots that I feel like you guys can duplicate and replicate, then I'll put them on here. You know, sometimes I go out there and I do like a -31, a -32, and I get like, you know, an albatross or a lucky hole-in-one, and maybe I hit a great shot or something like that, and then I post my scorecards on YouTube and, you know, or on Facebook, and they're -31, and people are like, hey, where's the updates? And I'm just like, hey, like, I got lucky. You know, I hit a shot that I probably shouldn't have hit, or, you know, I hit an albatross, but I don't really have, you know, to make sure that it's replicatable. So, but there's a good rough draft for everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and please donate to the cause. Thanks.